Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa. Today I'm filming a video that I'm really super excited about. This is going to be me talking about my Ancestry Reading Challenge. This is an idea that I have had for a while. If you are one of my original subscribers, you will know that way back when in 2020, before the shutdown, when I first started my booktube channel, I had an idea. Well, I gotta give credit where credit is due because my idea is based off of something that I saw Kayla from Books and Lala do that I thought was super fun. I was like, I totally want to do that. So back in the day, this would have been 2019, 2020, I think, when Kayla did this video. If I can find it, I will post it so you guys can see it. I'm not doing the exact thing she's doing, but I took inspiration from her, so I gotta give her credit. But she did a video that was like reading books based on her Ancestry DNA, and I was like, that is super cool. So I decided to kind of make myself a reading challenge where I read books around my ancestry DNA. I'm doing it differently than what Kayla did. There could be other people out there who have done similar things. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it much. I just know this was kind of, I took what she did and made it my own kind of idea and challenge for myself that I want to do. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Again, I made a video. I will link it. It's probably pretty cringy because it was 3 years ago now. And, you know, like one of the very first videos I posted to this channel. So just keep that in mind, if you would please. Okay, so basically what this is, I have Ancestry DNA and I was able to find out my heritage, my ancestry, where I come from, basically. I will go ahead and be going over my results with you here in a minute. But let me kind of like break down basically the initial, what this is, what I'm doing, the challenge, what it, like all that it entails and everything like that. Also, really quick, before I get into the meat of this video, I would really appreciate it if you guys would be willing to share this because I'm really needing to find people who are from said country, whether that be you specifically, you grew up there, you live there now, your parents are from there, maybe you weren't born there, but you live there now and you can kind of help me out with some of the certain books I'm looking for or ideas. If your direct ancestry is from there and you are just aware of, you know, any of the kind of prompts that I'm talking about, yeah, let me know, comment below, because I'm going to be picking your guys' brains if you are from said countries. Again, if you could share it, you know, that would really help me because I want to try and get this out there. I mean, yeah, of course, for other people can see it, but more so for people can contact me so I can make sure to be as thorough as possible with each country that I'm going through and with all of my prompts. So you don't have to necessarily share my video, but like if you know someone, yeah, let's do that. If we would, it would really help me out a lot. Okay, so I'm just calling this Reading My Ancestry Challenge because that's just the name I came up with. What I want to do is this is going to be a bi-monthly thing. So I'm basically going to every 2 months. So this is starting, today is March 14th. So it's going to be like March, April, May, June, July, August, that kind of idea, bi-monthly, where I take 2 months to learn all about my ancestral home, ancestral people through reading. I have like a list of categories that I want to work through and I will be vlogging my experience, and I don't know, I mean it'll probably end up being a few vlogs throughout the month. I don't think that's going to be one big vlog because y'all know that I talk like I just don't know how to not talk, so it's probably going to be very, very long, and I have some really fun, cool ideas that I want to do for these videos that will take up some time. So I don't exactly know how the format's going to be, like when the videos will be posted, all that kind of stuff, but I do know that over the course of 2 months, I will be focusing on a specific country. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about what I'm going to be doing, what this challenge entails. So I have a list of countries. I'm gonna hide that there, but yeah, I have the list of countries here that I have my ancestry from. I will be screen recording my iPad so that you guys will be able to follow on the screen with me when I speak about each country. I will be doing this more towards the end, so I'm going to go over my challenges and all that kind of stuff first that I'm planning on doing, and then towards the end of the video I will go ahead and discuss the actual countries that I'm going to be reading from. First off, if you guys want, let me get more in the light, maybe. Nope, that's not gonna work. I was gonna say I can get in the light so you guys can like really see me. Here, let me get a close-up. Where do you think I'm from? Looking at me, I mean, obviously the hair. So my eyebrows are like my natural hair color. So my natural hair is like a mousy brown. It does have some red in it, if that gives you any hints. But this is me. I'm curious if you guys can guess what countries you think I am from. I will say that almost half of my heritage is from one country. You guys can probably, by looking at me, like I said, sorry about the weird lighting, be able to make a good guess of where you think my ancestry is. I'd be curious to see what you guys think. I am a very pale person, so I think it's gonna be kind of easy to be able to guess where my ancestry is from. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to leave comments. Let me know what you think. I'd be curious to see what y'all have to say. I will be, like I said, going over. I'm gonna move this camera. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better with the lighting. I'm sorry guys, the sun decided to come. I might close the blinds here in a minute, we'll see. But okay, so I moved the camera. Hopefully that helps with the lighting. I am going to be going over like my challenges and what my plan is for this reading challenge. And then at the end of the video, like I said, we'll be talking about what countries I'm from. So basically my idea for this challenge, and again, this is based off of Kayla's video. My idea is I want to learn about my heritage through literature. So that means reading classics, reading children's books, reading nonfiction, reading cookbooks, historical books, all of this kind of stuff that I would like to read about each and every country that I am from, well, to an extent. So let's go ahead and get a little bit deeper dive into what my plans are. Like I had said, I would like to read a classic, and this, basically the idea of this is I know that I might not be able to find, I understand that there may be some smaller countries on the list that I just don't have access to, or maybe there is no widely known classic from said country. So like, let's just use America for example, because I am American. I am like a very multi-generation American, but I am not Native. I do not have any Native American blood in me, at least according to Ancestry DNA. So I'm just going to use America for example because it's where I live. Let's say that I'm not able to find, or there is within my, scope of ability to find, there is no classic author or classic book that comes from America, then I will have to skip that prompt. But I'm going to do my best to find books that are own voices for the most part too. So my general rule of thumb is I would like to read a book set in said country, written by, again, America as an example. I want to read a book set in America that is written by an American. If I'm unable to find that, so if I find a book written by an American that's not set in this country, like it could be a fantasy, or it could even be a contemporary, but say it's set in Ireland, but it's written by an American, that will still work because the author is the same heritage or nationality as me. Vice versa too. If I cannot find a single book set in America that is written by an American, I can only find one written by an Irish author, then I will still read that and count it because I'm reading a book set in the country, even though the author is not from that country. But I will do my best to make sure that its own voices, first and foremost. Again, I'm just using an American example. Obviously, it doesn't really work that well because there's like a ton of literature in America. But I hope you guys kind of get the gist of what I am saying. Just again, I really am going to try my best to read own voices as much as I possibly can. I also want to put this out there. If you are someone that was born, raised, or currently lives in the country that I am going to be speaking about, please leave a comment down below because I might want to pick your brain. I definitely would like to talk to people who are of this ancestry, or again, say America, okay? So let's just say, you know, if you are an American and you know of American literature that might be able to work for some of these prompts, let me know. I would really like to discuss with you options because not all of the countries that I am going to be speaking about are very big, and I might have more difficulty finding specific categories for said country. My ideas here, like I said, is I want to learn about my ancestry through literature, but the way that I want to approach this is, again, like children's books, classics, history. I want to know what it would have been like if I grew up in said country versus growing up in America. What kind of children's books would I have been reading? What would have been taught to me in school? What kind of food would I have been eating? What's the history, or maybe some of the local news that would have been going on during the time that I was growing up? I really want to kind of be immersed into these countries and find out, you know, if for whatever reason I would have had been born there, how would my life have been different as far as a literature standpoint goes. So I'm so excited for this, you guys. This has been something that I have been, like I said, I tried to do this back in 2020, never panned out, and I have been thinking about it ever since then and trying to figure out how this is gonna go, and I'm so excited. The only caveat, like a problem that I have here, is I'm not able to purchase books. I mean, I might be able to get like one or two for very cheap, but for the most part, majority of the books that I'm going to be reading, I'm gonna have to find either on Scribd or on my library. So that is gonna be a little bit of a hindrance. It's like I'm not gonna be able to buy a book from a different country, and you know, if it's like it's only published in said country, unfortunately I won't be able to have access to it because I'm very limited on funds. And so I'm kind of limited to what my library has available. Thankfully, I live in a county that has a very extensive library. We are very multicultural here in Portland, and so there's a good chance that a lot of these books will be available at my local library, but that's something that I need to kind of like disclaimer, I guess, to say is that if I can't get access it through library, through Scribd, through something like that, unfortunately I won't be able to read it because I can't afford to buy it. So let's hope that for the most part everything I need is available for me. Now I'm going to go through kind of the prompts and kind of I'm just going to say prompts because I don't really know what else to call it, you guys. The ideas that I have of like what I'm going to be reading. So I already mentioned classic. I am not the biggest classics reader, but again, I want to learn about my countries, my ancestry, the country that my ancestors came from. I mean, again, it could be fantasy, it could be sci-fi, it could be literally anything. It just has to be considered a classic. And I don't know if every country that I'm going to be speaking about has literature that's considered classics. Again, it might not be within my reach, but this is going to be the best that I can do. Next up is children's literature. So I definitely want to find out, and this is like where I might need some of you guys to help me out, is I'm going to look for basically like if I would have grown up there, what kind of children's books would I have been reading? Famous picture books, very well-known, well-loved picture books from said country. If there's any chapter books or series or like a children's author that is super famous or well-loved in said country, I want to try and pick up their books and, you know, not necessarily read the entire series if it's like, you know, a 20, 30, 40 plus series, but just read a book or two and kind of get an idea of like, this is the kind of literature that I would have been reading if I grew up in this country. And, you know, again, I do want to try and do like picture book or like that kind of like young children's book And then I'm also willing to look at like middle grade YA as well, if that is something that is very popular in that country, you know, so kind of all encompassing, you know, from birth to high school, basically, what kind of things would I have been reading. The next one that I have on the list is I want to read a book from a popular author, like a modern author. So if there is a more modern author that exists in that country that has written books, I'm going to do my best to find a book written by them and read it because, again, I want to learn about my country through literature. I'm going to say this a million times. I'm so sorry for repeating myself. Next is historical fiction. So like I said before, I'm going to do my best to read own voices. But if it's not possible within, you know, what I can find, if it's by a different author or an author from a different country, as long as it is set in said country or about the experience. So say like maybe it's historical fiction, but it's like on an immigrant ship from Europe to America, that'll be okay too, as long as it is discussing the experience of the people from that country. Hopefully that makes sense. It could even be a historical fiction set in America. I'm gonna do my best to like try and let it be set in that country, but if I can't find it, if it's a historical fiction set in America, but it's specifically about the people group that I am reading about, you know, let's use Russians for an example. If it's like the Russian immigrant experience in America back in the whatever, 1800s, 1700s, I don't even know, that will work too if I can't find a book, historical fiction set in Russia. Hopefully that makes sense. Next up is I would like to read a nonfiction from that country, specifically history. So let me try and move my camera again because the sun angle is changing. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. Again, sorry about all of the angle changes here. I would like to read a history novel or history book. Like, what is the history of that country? What wars have taken place in that country? What politics are from that country? Is there any specific natural disaster that's really well known from said country? Is this country, you know, is there a specific invention or food or event that happened in this country that kind of shapes the way that they are now? I hope this makes sense. If anything I'm talking about is a little convoluted, if you guys have any questions, please leave your questions down below and I will do my best to elaborate, explain better. I hope I'm making sense though, but just kind of, again, giving you an idea of this country, the history of the country. This can be ancient history, this can be modern history, anything in between. I don't plan on reading like one book per prompt. I might pick up a couple and I might kind of peruse through and get kind of I really just want to get a well-rounded experience and just really learn about the country that I am speaking about. Along with learning about the history of the country, I want to read a biography or autobiography of a person from the country or with that ancestry. So this can be a political figure, this can be an actor, this can be a artist, this can be just a random person that decided to write their life experience. It really doesn't matter. I don't have any criteria of like who it needs to be. Like, it doesn't have to be like a super famous person, but I want to read about, you know, obviously someone from said country, what their experience, what their life experience is. So I will try and keep it to more, again, of someone that is like either a political figure or someone that is well known. So I think that's what a lot of biographies, autobiographies are anyways, written about people who are well known. But again, some of these countries might be on a little bit smaller side and might not have that as readily available. So I'm just going to do my best. Again, more with nonfiction, I'm going to do my best to get a travel guide or learn what it would be like if I today was to say, I want to go visit this country. What would that look like for me? What are the expenses? Like, what are the availabilities for tourists? Is this a country that American tourists are welcome in, or can we easily access? What would be, like, basically I'm gonna like plan a trip there and like see, like, is there any monuments, whether natural or man-made, that I want to see? Is there anything that's like touristy, you need to go see this, but like if again, or like this is something that only the natives know about, and you know, check out the local whatever life. I don't really know how to describe it, but just like read a travel guide about the country and learn, again, if I was to visit today, what would that be like? What would that look like for me? Any, again, famous landmarks, that kind of stuff. Along with that, I do plan on, this is really fun, I do plan on doing this, is I want to get a cookbook, learn about native dishes to said country or popular dishes in this country, maybe something that was like invented here or that like everybody in this country eats, like they're well known, like this is gonna be super cliche, but the Irish and potatoes, you know, or English and fish and chips or something. But even more unique than that, really get to know like what are they eating, what are popular dishes. And I plan on doing like a vlog where if I can get a cookbook or find a recipe where I make said dish. Now, I am not a chef, I'm not a cook, I'm not a baker, so this may be an interesting experiment for me, but I plan on making said dish, trying it, see what I think, you know, just kind of have fun with it. But that, yeah, just like learn about the food, the culture around the food, try the food, see if I'm able to make it and what I think of the taste. Which might not be very accurate representation because, again, I'm not a cook. I don't cook very well. So that's either here, you know, it might be like take it with a grain of salt, but it's going to be a fun experience. And the last thing that I have that I want to read about is any kind of lore or mythology set in that country, whether that be like religion. So say if there's a specific religion that like ancient Greek, I don't know, Greek, let's just use that for example, because everyone knows that like ancient Greek mythology, like if Greece happens to be one of the countries, then I would read about Greece mythology. Irish, you know, you have like the Fae and stuff like that. So I want to read fairy tales, lore, mythology, all of that kind of stuff about the country that specific country has that is unique to that country, or maybe not unique to that country per se, but just like is a part of their culture and that's a part of their history, is just the mythology, the lore, the whatever, you know. That's kind of what I really want to do because I think it's super fun. I love learning about that stuff in general, and then to be able to learn about it from the countries that I come from, I just think it's going to be so much fun. Okay, we're hopefully back to normal. The sun is kind of gone behind the trees. So now that I have talked about everything that I need to talk about, let's go ahead and get into what actual countries am I from. I'm going to be doing this bi-monthly, and so for certain countries, I will be choosing a specific country, and I'm like, I will read this specific country. I will take 2 months to read it. I will vlog about my experience. I will do the cooking vlog. I will all these things. Other times, if there's like, you come from this general area, but there's like, because there is a specific thing on here that it's like, this part of the world, we don't know exactly what country, but all of these countries are included in said part of the world, then I will kind of try and pick a couple different countries within that same people group, if that makes sense. It'll make sense here in a few minutes when I speak about what the countries are, and do more of a broad of those countries combined. So it won't necessarily be one country per video. It'll be like one area per video. I will explain that more as we get into it, but I hope that makes sense to you all. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and scoot the camera over. So you guys will have the screen recording here on my, I'm gonna be recording on my iPad. So let's go ahead and get that started. If you want to go back to my old video and look at it, I'm pretty sure the DNA percentages have changed since then, so you can go check it out and see what the differences are if you want. At the end of this video, just for kicks, I will pull up my 23andMe ancestry report because I have both of them and kind of compare. They're obviously very similar, but the percentages are a little bit different. This video though is specifically off the Ancestry DNA. So if 23andMe has something a little different, I won't be doing that. This is Ancestry. Okay, so let's go ahead and look. As you can see here, Europe. I am European. Could you tell by my skin? Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in here. Each of said countries have a colors. So as you guys can see here, we have England and Northwestern Europe. That is green. Hopefully that is like making sense. There we go. Okay, so as you can see here in this, it says England and Northwestern Europe, primarily located in Channel Islands in England, but it also found in Belgium, France, Germany, Isle of Man, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Switzerland, and Wales. So that is what I mean by I may have multiple countries. So say this sample, obviously England is going to be very easy to find pretty much everything from England. But let's just say it's not, okay? I will then include in said vlog, I will include, you know, maybe Belgium, France, and Wales. Look into those countries because we don't know 100%, like it can't obviously pinpoint exactly. It just says like this is most likely. And because the people groups, especially way back in the day, moved around so much and were constantly migrating, and you know too, like the boundaries we have set today are not the same boundaries that were set hundreds of thousands of years ago. And so people groups migrated and moved and mixed in all sorts of things, so it's really hard to pinpoint exactly, except for, you will see in a minute, there is a country specifically that I know that my great-grandparents actually immigrated from, so there is very easy to tell exactly where I'm from. But some of this other stuff is more of a broad example. So here it just tells you a little bit of the history. I'm not going to be going over and reading this, but as you can see, mainly Channel Islands and England. So England obviously is going to be the main thing that I talk about. And then you have a little bit of France highlighted there as well. But anything basically English, Welsh, that kind of idea is what my main focus is. I maybe someday go in later and do more deep dive into these smaller countries that I may or may not have an ancestor from, but for the sake of this video project, it's just going to be the main countries. Okay, so 45% English, Northwestern Europe. Next, Norwegian, Norway. I am 20% Norwegian. Now, this does include Faroe Islands, Iceland, Denmark, and Sweden. Obviously more Norwegian than Denmark, Sweden, but again, people groups move and migrate and boundaries change. So if I can find a book set in Iceland, I may do that. I will be focusing specifically on Norway, but say that the Faroe Islands, I happen to find a book specifically set there, or if I can only find a classic set by someone from Iceland and not by Norway, which would probably be the opposite. But anyways, then that works too, because that is considered a part of this group of people that I am from. Okay, then after that, we have Sweden and Denmark. Now this is the one, okay, I don't know why it's not pulling up Sweden. Anyways, Sweden and Denmark. This is the one that I know for sure because my mom's dad's parents, so my great maternal grandparents immigrated from Sweden. As you can see, hopefully here, you have a little bit of a colored section here. In central Sweden, specifically, I'm probably not going to be pronouncing it correctly, Norra Värmland is most likely, sorry for the zooming in and out, just trying to find where it is. There we go. Okay. This little tiny area in here that is circled with the little black circle is most likely the exact area that my ancestors lived in and came from, which I think is pretty cool. So you can see here that it's southern Sweden right on the border. So what is that? Southwest Sweden right on the border of Norway is most likely where my direct grandparents lived and came from. If I can get some family history, I will insert that throughout the vlogs too. I don't know if I can. I know a lot about my mom's side, but hardly anything about my dad's side of the family. So Sweden is definitely a country that I'm going to be doing. I'm really, really excited for that. Denmark is a part of that as well. So during the 2 months, I will try and read a little bit from Denmark, but my main focus will be Sweden, because again, I know for a fact that my ancestors came from there. Now, this is another one here that we have a very large section. This is Germanic Europe. So primarily located in Germany and the Netherlands, but my specific DNA profile is also found from people from Austria, Belgium, Czech Republic, France, Hungary, Luxembourg, Russia, Slovenia, and Switzerland. If I may do like the very last video that I do, it might be like, say like Switzerland I know has already showed up twice. If there's like one of those smaller countries that shows up multiple times, maybe I'll focus on that. I don't know, we'll see how this goes. This is going to be a very long project that's going to take me probably a couple years to complete, because like I said, I'm doing bi-monthly, so every 2 months will be focused on a specific country. Yeah, so we have Germany, and that includes Netherlands, you know, we have down here Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Austria. I mean, there's all these different, obviously Germany, but there's all these different little countries, again, that it could be part of. So that's going to be my focus for that. After Germany, we have Wales. Wales obviously is very close to England. I don't really know much about Wales, which will be, that's like another thing that's interesting. Have I been reading off the percentages to you guys? I don't think I have, because you can see it on the screen, but in case you are visually impaired, let me go ahead and go back a little bit and say what I am a percentage of. So England and Northwestern Europe, 45%, Norway, 20%, Swedish Denmark, 9%, Germanic Europe, 8%, Welsh or Wales, 6%. So again, just be learning about the Welsh country, Welsh traditions, all that kind of stuff. That will be a specific country I focus on. After Wales, we have Scotland. And according to this, I am 3% Scottish, which I believe Scotland includes the Isle of Man. From my understanding, the Isle of Man is its own entity. It's part of the UK, I think, but it's not like, it's not Scottish, it's not English, it's not Irish, it's its own thing. Yeah, so Scotland, I definitely have ancestry from there. After Scotland, I have Ireland. I can't remember, I'll have to ask my mom. I can't remember if we're more Northern or Southern Ireland. There we go, there's Ireland. This is weird, you guys. I don't know why some of these countries will pull up like that. You see it pulls up specifically information for there, but then when I click on Scotland, it just gives me that. I don't know why that is. So, okay, so Ireland, 3%. We have Ireland, but this also includes Channel Islands, Faroe Islands, France, Iceland, Isle of Man, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. Again, we'll kind of go through that. So I am 3% Irish. Now, 2% Jewish. Specifically from my understanding, this is specifically Ashkenazi Jew, which is European Jewish. So again, learning about this will be interesting. I don't know if like my direct ancestors, I don't know if we can date my direct ancestors, you know, obviously back to like ancient Israel or whatever. I think this is more Jews that lived in Europe, that lived in Germany, that lived in these places, because that's where most of my other ancestry is from. If we look at the map here, red is Jewish. And so as I zoom out, you guys can see that that encompasses a whole heck of a lot of space. Eastern European Jew, Ashkenazi Jew. You can see that Israel, down in the Mediterranean, down in the Middle East, there is no markings here. So again, it's more European Jewish. I don't know why. This is so weird. Like, why won't it bring up? Oh, this is annoying me. It won't bring up everything that's like... anyways, yeah, it just says that communities are scattered throughout Egypt or Europe, North Africa, Central Asia, Middle East. Jewish populations in Northern and Eastern Europe are often known as Ashkenazi, which most likely is my ancestry. Because Ancestry, or 23andMe specifically says Ashkenazi Jew. So we'll go for that. So that's 2%. After that, I have Finland, and that is 2% as well. Let me see if I can find Finland on the map. This will really test my geography. Here we go. Finland. We also have Estonia and Sweden are also part of the Finnish bloodlines, I guess. And last but not least, we have Eastern Europe and Russia. So y'all, let me tell you, this is the absolute biggest area that encompasses so much. So it's really going to be hard for me to specifically say, like, yes, I am Russian, because maybe it's not Russia. I mean, but again, like with the whole, it's not modern Russia, but like ancient Russia, I don't even know. Let's just look at what the thing here says. If we can see here, if I zoom in, y'all, this encompasses huge amounts of space. Obviously Russia, but you have all of these itty bitty tiny countries in here that of course aren't going to really show up, but all these countries. So primarily located in, okay, this is the primary. Austria, oh man, I may say some of these incorrectly and I'm so sorry. Belarus, Czech Republic, Hungary, Moldova, Poland, Russia, Slovenia, Slovenia, and Ukraine. Those are the primary locations. So Slavic, I guess when I am doing this, I will be looking at the Slavic people in general, Slavic countries. We also have found in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Estonia, Germany, Lithuania, Romania, and Serbia. So my ancestry could possibly come from any of those places. There's no way to know this. I mean, maybe there are, if any of you know of any other like more detailed ancestry DNA organizations out there, let me know, because I'd be interested in checking that out. But yeah, I think this main focus is going to be on Slavic people in general. There isn't really going to be a focus on a specific country per se. But yeah, you can see that is quite a very large area. So if we go back and zoom out, you all can see here, this is where I'm from. I'm from Europe, with a big old section from Russia, but majority of my heritage, 45% of my DNA is from England and Northwestern Europe, which is really fun, you guys. Again, like I said, I know that my grandma's dad was full blood. He was first generation American from Sweden, which is super cool. I know I have specifically German on my dad's side. I know Irish, Scottish, again, for sure. We can trace that ancestry on my mom's side. So I will do my best throughout these videos too, to kind of look at my ancestry and see if I can find specific ancestors. Now, if we look at the screen again, it does actually, Ancestry DNA is pretty cool because it does talk about certain communities in America. So you can kind of deep dive more so into the history. Here we have early Connecticut and New York settlers, specifically from England, Northwestern Europe, Germanic Europe, and Scotland. Now, I do know that I have family members that came over before America was founded. So I'm actually I'm an ancestor of Benjamin Franklin. He's like a very distant cousin. So my family ancestry does have, like I said in the beginning, dates way back in America. I am not native though, but it's still cool to learn about my history. We also have, if you can see the pink section here, this is Upper Midwest settlers. Kind of tells me like where my specific ancestry settled in America, which is cool because my grandfather, my mom's dad, was born in Connecticut. My dad was born in South Dakota. His mom was born in Nebraska. So you can kind of see on the map here, like this is obviously Midwest. And then my grandma and my mom, myself, were all born here in Oregon. So it just kind of shows you where each section settled in the States, which is fun. Yeah, so that is that, you guys. That's my ancestry. Were you right? Did you guess any of the countries correctly? If you guessed like Europe, yeah, I mean, basically 100%. Like I said, literally 2% of me. That's even Eastern Europe though. So like I am pretty much, I think 23andMe will show us. Let's go ahead and pull up my 23andMe. According to 23andMe, I am 99.7% European. Which, I mean, you'd never know by looking at me, right? It's like kind of obvious. Now, as you can see in 23andMe, the map is very similar. Again, though, I'm basing this off of Ancestry. 23andMe is going, I mean, Ancestry is going to be, because if you look here on 23andMe, they have British and Irish, Scandinavian, French and German. So they don't like break it down like Ancestry had like England, Ireland, Scotland, Sweden, Finland. This is just like Scandinavian, 26.9%. Where, of course, like I said, I want to do more of individual countries. So I could just do like, maybe with the Eastern European thing, again, Slavic, I don't know. But according to 23andMe, I am 99.7% European and 97.1% Northwestern European. Breaking that down even farther, 45% British Irish, 26.9% Scandinavian, 7.8% French German, 0.5% Finnish, 16.3% broadly Northwestern Europe, which again, you guys, is a lot of countries. 1.5% Eastern European, and this is where specifically it says Ashkenazi Jew. So I am, oops, let's go back to it. There we go. I am 1.1% Ashkenazi Jew. And this kind of gives you an example of all of the countries that bloodline is found in. So let me just click real quick here to show you on the map of visual representation. So we have Northwestern Europe. So this one, it kind of goes, it's interesting because this maybe like tells me maybe like a little bit more likely. Like it says highly likely United Kingdom, and then it tells me like the regions that I'm highly likely from. So I don't know, they're each like, everything's a little bit different. We'll see. And then again, Scandinavia. So that is the sections there. French, German, German likely, France possible. Let's see, what else? Finnish, that is just straight up Finnish. 5.5%. Broadly Northwestern European. Very, again, that's like mostly UK and Scandinavia. Eastern European, you know, Slavic, Ashkenazi Jew. And then we have now I won't be doing this. Like I said, I'm only going off of Ancestry, and Ancestry does not have this, but 23andMe has 0.2% North African. 0.2% North African, which I don't know, this includes, I'm guessing, like, let's see if it even will tell me here what country specifically. But I will not be reading or doing a vlog about these countries because it just seems so like out there. And again, Ancestry does not have that. I mean, if you guys really want me to, like, I could. Like, I have nothing against North Africa, but it's just not something that is a big part of my heritage. I mean, it's 0.2%. And then we have 0.1% unassigned, so whatever. You know, it's really hard to say, but 99.7% of me is European. According to Ancestry, I think it's like 100% is European, but anyways, there we go. There is my ancestral makeup, y'all. These are the countries that I am from. So let me go ahead and stop the screen recording. Okay, so hopefully, let me shimmy. Okay, camera back to the center, hopefully. There you go, guys. So like I said, I'm going to be focusing on a specific country every 2 months. Now, because this month is March and it is the Irish Readathon, I decided that it would be the perfect time to start this. And I'm not going to be going off of like what percentage I have. If I was to do it like in percentage order, I'd be starting with England and Northwestern Europe, but I'm not. I'm just going to do this in whatever I feel like doing it, as there's not going to be any rhyme or reason to like when I choose what month. It's just going to be the way it is. And I mean, besides this is like, it's the Irish Readathon, so I'm going to be learning about my Irish history this month. I have a separate video coming for you guys, which will probably either be posted the same day this one is or the next day, talking all about my Irish reading plans and where I, like, what I want to do, what books I'm going to be reading, that kind of thing. So do look out for that if you would. If you have any questions, if you want to see me do anything specific, I do have plans to try and say, like, if there's a cultural center here in Portland, because like I said before, Portland is very broadly cultured. We do have a lot of different cultures here. I will try to visit it. If there is an event, like I know that during the summer we have, there's like a Scandinavian festival that happens here during the summer. If I can find anything along those lines that celebrate the specific history or heritage that I'm going to be talking about, that I come from or whatever, if there's a specific restaurant, like maybe I'll go to a restaurant that has that specific type of food, listen to music from the country, watch a movie from that country. I mean, again, majority of this is going to be literature, but I might sprinkle in a few things here and there, but my main focus is books. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really excited. I'm hoping and praying this is something that I can like actually fulfill, because I really want to do this. I have no plans for what I'm going to be doing in the following months. I just know that March, April is all about Ireland. So again, any questions, if you are someone that is from one of these countries, either you were born there, you live there now, your parents are from there, you know someone who's from there, please do comment below and let me know, because I would love to pick your brain and learn about your country. I'm so excited, you guys. This is going to be so much fun. If you guys have any other ideas of what I should do, or if there's any specific type of book or recommendation that you have, please leave it below, because I really want to just immerse myself in these countries and learn about my ancestry, learn about my heritage. I really hope I've gone over everything. If not, if I think of anything later, I'll pin a comment or something, but I'm pretty sure I explained it all to the best to the best of my ability. Probably over-explained some things, but again, comments, questions, anything, please leave them down below. If you've made it to the end of this video, put a globe emoji, because we're talking about ancestry and, you know, the world. And I know that obviously I am European, but other countries are cool too and deserve recognition, just not in these videos because they're not my heritage. Anyways, yeah, put a globe. I'm really excited. And like this video if you would, please give it a thumbs up. It would really help me out. Do all the things. Subscribe to my channel so you know, if you can be on the lookout for these vlogs. There is not gonna be a schedule. I'm just gonna post them when I post them. But again, it'll be throughout the next 2 months. So I'm so excited. Okay, guys, I think that's everything I have to say. That's all I had to talk to you about. Again, be looking out for that Irish introduction video because that is coming. Like I said, either today or tomorrow, it's going to be up. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, you guys, and I'm very excited to have you on this journey with me. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.